Welcome to another edition of the Brotherhood. I am your host this evening, Diesel Skills, here with my brother from another mother, Dee Money, and the leader of the Brotherhood here at the Blue&Black Attack. We're excited to bring you this video tonight, and we're going to call this video Newfound Glory. Brother Dee Money, tell me about these Carolina Panthers and how we're trended toward some newfound glory, and remind the fans of where this Carolina Panthers team came from, 0-2 in their humble beginnings.
Oh, family. I'm sitting here, shout out to my brother Diesel Skills, the illest and dopest producer in these YouTube streets and Panther content. Don't let the humbleness fool you. Shout out to the Blue&Black Attack, Panther Pickle, Cole, Jake the Snake, and all the great subscribers and followers and people of viewing. We love you. We do this for you, not just for us. And we're thankful to be here for another episode of the Brotherhood Edition. And we're talking about that newfound glory or whatever. And just to start, so we're at a reference point. The highest mountaintop for us, where the biggest glory, where the biggest praise and adulation would even come, is from the winning and getting to the championships and representing this Panther team as they was once represented, and what made a lot of y'all become Panther fans in the first place. But it always connects, because for you to find any kind of newfound anything, you had to go through something old. And not even to say that it was old, that it's not as precious, but you have to go through some humble beginnings to find that glory, this newfound glory, this glory that you take pride, that warms and makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That newfound glory that has you memories 8-9 years ago of plays and games and situations that warmed your heart and warmed your soul and made you proud to be a Panthers fan. If we just go even shorter jump, we started off the season 0-2, had people wanting to jump off the bank, had people wanting to jump off their carports, people wanting to lay in front of their car and just hope that it rolled forward. They just knew that it was just another regular run-of-the-mill. We tried a little bit, but we just came up short. But see, the thing is we had a front office that had belief if they kept plugging in and believing. If we had a coaching staff that was sitting here like, you know what, if I can get these guys to buy in and plug in and give their best effort, and if we give our best effort and keep churning the roster and keep trying to tweak things and trying to make things that we can step out of just basking in humble beginnings and now living with a newfound glory. But even when we talk about that, we looked at having the worst ranked defense just like 2 seasons ago. So what did Dan decide to do? Dan said, you know what? Let's throw this money we got. Let's make it rain. Let's get some guys in here. And you started seeing guys like Bobby Brown. You saw Trey Moore. You saw us drafting young pups like Nick Scorton and Princely Human Nealon. You know, we had a lot of guys that came in that had a lot of dog in them, had a lot of points to prove, had a lot of humble beginnings. And now where did that and the mindset and the faith lead us to? To a division title. Regardless of how you want to talk about our division title, we brought in a division title. We brought something that we hadn't had back in the 704 in a very long time, and that was the playoffs. And even what might have been just as special as the playoffs, Ace Boogie, our prodigal son, our child, one of our brothers who had been away from the fold for so long, came home. We watched Bryce Young start to command this offense and lead this offense, taking me back to the video of when he was on the pivot and he was talking about how he got benched and the Joker just started driving, almost ended up in Georgia. See, that's letting you know when guys get out their ordinary and they're riding and don't even know where they're going, but they're so upset that they've disappointed themselves, and that they disappointed this brotherhood, and that they disappointed the family in their eyes. That these jokers are almost going across multiple states just thinking about how to correct the problem. So then we do that. We don't get the result we want in a playoff game, except for the fact that we fought and we were in that game at the end and we had our opportunity. But did we rest on our laurels? No, we didn't rest on our laurels. We went and got them scouts out there. They started looking at the videos. They started going out to these senior days and pro days, looking at these puppies. So I'm highly excited about how this NFL draft will impact this team. I think that we're putting ourselves in a position where we don't have to go in the grocery store hungry, and we can go get exactly what we need that's going to benefit us, that's going to energize us, that's going to help propel us into that next direction. But I purposely left this out that happened before the draft, and that was just what happened this week. All I've heard over the last 3 to 4 years, these, is that the 704 is not a free agent destination. If they come to if they come to the 704, we're gonna have to give up our firstborn child, a second mortgage, might have to sell some illegal substances to make it happen to get them here. And on this week here, we watched Jalen Phillips, who was not even on my radar at the time. I was really thinking he was probably looking at another situation after playing so well in Miami, and then going from Miami with a little bit of injury up to Philadelphia. To, if I'm not mistaken, Philadelphia was night and day on the production that their defense was scoring once Jalen Phillips became into the lineup. Well, lets you know that this is a guy who came from such humble beginnings, that the work that he has put in started to give other teams newfound glory. And now we have been blessed that this guy believed in us, listened to Dan, listened to Dave, EJ, whatever the selling points was, and he believed in us. Putting him beside Derek Brown, putting him beside Bobby Brown, helping him getting Nick Scorton and Princely Human Nealon a little more experience. You know, another experienced guy in there only helps your young guys when he's got talent. So now they can see how he goes about his work, how he goes and affects, and how he prepares, how he handles his body to try to make it through the rigors of the NFL schedule. And so then even then, everybody's in their cards. They're looking in their cards, hitting their wish list of what they want for free agency. If there would have been a football Santa, so many Panther fans would have been trying to sit on his lap. No diddy. But then the next thing you know, all of a sudden the news come. Everybody's favorite wish list toy, Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd. It was like it was just a dream. And the reason why I call it as a dream, because he was already in a situation where he's coming from humble beginnings, and he had to put the work in, and he had to put the fight in. And next thing you know, his play elevated individually, but it also permeated across a Jacksonville defense where there's a lot of parallels between us and Jacksonville as far as our trajectory of success since we came into this league, where he could have stayed where he was at, let them bolster the defense there, and he continued to make his money, make his plays, and be in a familiar situation. And he chose to take on the challenge of taking his talents to Charlotte, North Carolina, and affecting change as he did with the Jacksonville Jaguars. A guy that can mentor Trevor Wallace. A guy that can also do what I'm wanting Jalen Phillips to do for Princely and Nick and so forth, which is show how to be a true professional, how to play this position, how to maintain your body, and most importantly, how to make the IQ plays to win football and make this defense better. But then we didn't stop there. All of y'all said, oh, Bryce needs competition. Bryce never gonna have competition. They won't even bring nobody in. Andy's just gonna be here. Well, then Dan said, you know what? I might not put on paper what might would be the best competition for Bryce Young in your eyes, but I'm bringing a younger gun into the building. Maybe a guy that could possibly, if Bryce had some injuries, God forbid, could come in and right the ship for a game, maybe 2 games, whatever needs to be. We don't know what's going to happen with Kenny Pickett, but let's be quite honest. We're going to wish him nothing but the best while he's here in the 704. And talk about a guy of humble beginnings that's looking for some newfound glory would be Sir Kenny Pickett. You know, coming out of college, even though they didn't have him just ranked as the best quarterback coming out, there was a lot of high hopes from a lot of pundits, a lot of analysts, that Kenny Pickett was a NFL quarterback. Well, it didn't start off, a lot of quarterbacks, we're not going to judge, don't start off great right away. Our own starter didn't come out great right away. I understand that. And then, he had his controversy in Cleveland, and let's not act like Cleveland is just a safe haven to foster anybody being developed. No shade to Cleveland, but let's call a spade a spade. Not much is getting developed in the quarterback room in Cleveland in the past, and we know it. So now Kenny Pickett goes on, gets traded, goes to another organization that didn't have much going on. His confidence was already probably wilted. They've been traded and moved quite a bit. And now he's coming here, hopefully healthy mind, healthy body, with a new lease on life, looking at this as a way to start the revival of his newfound glory. And yes, when a team wins and when a team's successful, we pay attention to the starting quarterback. But other teams that are looking for a quarterback start to pay attention to that backup quarterback of that winning situation. So it's a win-win for us because it's a proven situation on so many lines for Kenny Pickett. Kenny, if you want to be able to graduate from us and go to a higher escalade, you will buy in, you will put in the work, and you will do everything that's needed. If Bryce goes down, you show some leadership skills. And I have nothing but faith that Kenny Pickett will be a great teammate. As far as being that quarterback, we got to see the results when it comes to it. And then as I was on the great Cole show, and they was mocking it up, doing it all. And I'm going to tell you now, if you want good draft coverage, free agent coverage, insight and opinion, the Cole Show on Thursdays, they hit you with it. The Deal with the podcast with Panther Pickle on Monday, they really delve into a lot of things, especially what's probably going on after this recording. After this recording is out, all the things that's happened over the weekend, Pickle will be geared and equipped with some of the greatest minds to address that. But when I was on Cole Show Thursday, I had to talk sincerely, even though my optimism and love for this team is through the roof. I had to sit back and think for a moment, oh, this left tackle situation. A lot of things we could piece together, but oh, I'm concerned, especially when we need this as a year that our quarterback, this is his year. This is his prove it year. This is where we're at that fork in the road. Or if he's going to be the franchise guy and a guy that's going to continue to grow and develop and, lead us to success, or is it going to be time to go to another direction? And it's not a fair shake. If that line is not fortified to protect them, then we can get the best out of our quarterback or any quarterback that we have going under center at that time. And what did Dan decide to do? He decided to go to Cheesehead Country and go get Rashad Walker. And Rashad Walker, see how all this stuff keeps tying together like a good Avengers movie when we start talking about the humble beginnings into newfound glory. A lot of people, if you go check into Rashad Walker's resume, 7th round draft pick. We all know the 7th rounders gotta have some real dog. They gotta have some real skill, and they gotta have some real fight to be able to even make it to free agency by the time their contract ends to even be viable. And he has taken his talents, he's taken his development, he's taken that chip on his shoulder, and he has went out and fostered himself a ranking of the best offensive tackle really that was in this free agency class. And now he is part of these Carolina Panthers. Yes, it was so unfortunate for the injury that Icky had. And our hearts and prayers go out to Icky, and we hope that he's rehabbing and being able to heal in a very good manner, and that his career could go. But at that time, the show doesn't stop for one, and we had to figure out how we was gonna figure out align it. I didn't even think Walker was on our radar. I know we had went out and got another tackle. I know a lot of y'all was scared of that tackle that we brought in that brought some nervousness. I just wanted to bring in more depth because at the least if one guy didn't work out, we could foster and churn in another guy. Because the importance of this year, Mike Evans is out of Tampa Bay, people. Atlanta's being switched around. New Orleans has got all of this going on. We can stranglehold this division. And the last thing I wanted was because of lack of depth at left tackle, or we needed another guard, or another center, or something of that nature to prohibit that. Now we brought in Fortner as a center. I haven't done as much research as others have, but I have been informed that he has some good measurables, percentages, and so forth. And if him and Bryce can get their chemistry right away, I am all for it. Absolutely for it. Fortner, I really think he's going to be an anchor, and they brought him in to be an anchor in this offensive line this year. And I'm hoping he's ready to throw some bodies around. Because one thing I do know about this Rashad Walker from clips I've been seeing since we signed him, this is a big, angry, strong man. I literally saw a clip against Detroit where he just literally just muscled a man out the way with one arm, not even engaging in a block, and the guy was out of the play. And that's what we need on this offensive line. We still run the football. We still need maximum protection. And if we're going to get those type of dogs into this thing, oh, it's time to throw a parade. And then we re-signed Evans. I'm only calling him Evans. I do not want to butcher his first name. We brought him in for more depth. We're bringing in other guys that have shown that they wanted to be Carolina Panthers. So now, to go back full surface and reel this thing back in, Derek, what are you saying with these humble beginnings? And what are you saying when it comes to the newfound glory of these humble beginnings? Well, we've all heard the cliches, we've heard the sayings that without putting in the work, without the work, you will not muster results. And they talk about the 10,000 hours and the 15,000 hours. Well, Rashad Walker's had his 10,000 hours. It paid off for him. Devin Lloyd has had his 10,000 to 15,000 hours. It has paid off for him. Uh, Phillips, he's had his 10,000 to 15,000. And you have those guys that have that mentality. But we already had a Derek Brown that had that 10,000 to 15,000. We got that Trayvon Moore, that J.C. Horn, that Mike Jackson, that Lathan Ransom, Bobby Brown, Turk Wood, all these guys who seem to have that common thread of that they had to come from the humblest of beginnings to get to the newfound glory and the highest heights of glory. And if you want me to wrap it up into a nutshell for you, at the moment that these guys started to believe, and at the moment that these guys signed that dotted line, and at the moment these guys get to OTAs, and the moment these guys get to training camp, and they start to bond, and they start to foster these relationships, and you already have a group of guys who believe in each other because they believed in themselves when nobody else believed in them, and they made it to the playoffs last year. And now you add another like-minded individuals that want to take it to the next level. Family, it's time to get ready for the parade. I'm not going to tell you the year of the parade, but go ahead and start going to Party City, buying your streamers, getting your hats, getting the napkins, getting everything, getting ready to celebrate. Because I'm telling you now, the next time that you go to a Carolina Panthers Super Bowl party, when that time comes, I guarantee you, It will not be a waste when you buy the little Panther doilies and the little Panther plates to put the little chips on, because you're gonna be saving them little plates and you're gonna be saving them little cups and you're gonna be fond about them little plates, because that night when you was eating them Doritos off that plate, you watched the Carolina Panthers win their first Super Bowl in franchise history, and we'll be able to go back to this week. And we'll be able to go back to the draft of last year and the free agency of last year. And we'll be able to sit back and go like, wow, we really did come from some humble beginnings. But I thank God for this newfound glory. If you're not with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. I thank you, D's. Every time we get on here, it's a banger, it's a cooker. I love working with you, my favorite producer in the world. But if you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. Hey, pound.
Glory's light. Pickle brings that fire every Monday night. No sugar coating truth, just burning bright. The salty superstar won't hold it back. Speaking to the nation, blue and black. Cold on Thursday, breaking down the game. Serious reflection, building up the name. The cold show wisdom from a vet and soul. Awards and analysis helping us grow.